That's good. Good.
Taiwan's fundraiser and gala. I'd ask you to please gather around here. We're going to have something. Yes, very nice. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for coming out and for supporting this very important podcast. In fact, I want to tell you quite a few things about this podcast. And I don't trust myself speaking freely, so I'm going to read about this. I'm going to read about the fucking Taiwan podcast. Yes, let's see. Okay, Talking Taiwan is a Golden Crane Podcast Award winner. It has been shortlisted in the 2024 International Women's Podcast Awards. The Moment of Visionary Leadership category, it consists of a two-person team, Felicia Lin and Kaji Roberto. The show is hosted by Felicia, and Talking Taiwan is the longest-running, independently produced Taiwan-related podcast that covers stories and political news related to Taiwan, in Taiwan's global community. I'm sure that you've heard a lot about Taiwan lately. Are there a number of people who have been to Taiwan? If you've been to Taiwan, raise your hand. Raise your hand, you've been to Peter. Only half the people here have been to Taiwan. That's incredible. Do you know where okay, do you think Taiwan is a part of China? Who thinks Taiwan's a part of China? If you think so, you haven't been listening to this amazing podcast. Let me tell you that. Since 2013, we're talking about 12 years now, Talking Taiwan has presented highly valuable alternative sources of information to listeners through a wide variety of in-depth personal interviews with compelling guests related to Taiwan and Taiwan's diaspora. The preservation of oral histories is also an important part of Talking Taiwan's work. Okay, you know what? This is a fundraising event, and it's also a fundraising event. But I would say the funds are probably the more important. We are trying to raise $100,000 tonight. Is this possible? Maybe. This might be possible. But I want to talk about something that we're talking about little building blocks to $100,000. I think, are you familiar with Taiwanese bento, the bien dan things? Okay, those cost probably about $10 each or so. That's how much a raffle ticket is. I suggest you pick up a raffle ticket so that you can win one of the amazing prizes. You don't get prizes in bento boxes, but you might get a prize with a winning raffle ticket here. Also, need to tell you that Talking Taiwan has matching donors who have promised matching donations of $11,000, which means the first $11,000 raise will be doubled to $22,000. Thanks to our generous matching donors. There have been a number of celebrities who have come through Talking Taiwan's virtual doors. These include Dwaggy, Fire X, the amazing novelist Charles Yu, whose series Interior Chinatown is on Hulu right now. Arvin Chen, who happened to direct a film called Love in Taipei, that my wife is in. Yes, thank you. And Michelle Krusek, probably best known from Saving Face, one of the premier LGBTQ films of the century, really. Of course, Andrew Yang, the presidential contender, and possible New York mayoral candidate. And what's really special about Talking Taiwan is that out of 3.5 million podcasts, it is only one out of 720,000 that have more than 10 episodes. I'm going to do something really, really special. I have this bell with me, and I'm going to ring it whenever I hear a really special donation. And by special, I mean big. Oh, I should tell you about the music you heard when you were coming out. It is the AAPI Jazz Collective, which is led by Peter Lin. And they've been together for about 6 years now, as I understand, right? Yes, excellent. People are really focused on food right now. This annoying voice.
That's a good thing,
right?
That's a good thing.
I've never smelled as good as this food. I can't compete with that. Here's Felicia and Kaju.
My name is Felicia. I'm a producer and host of Talking Taiwan, and this is my partner.
Okay, thank you.
We have two sponsors, the Taiwanese American Arts Council. I'm not sure if they're here yet. And Crystal Windows. And we also had a last-minute sponsor, Taiwan Beer. Woo! Yes. In the last 24 hours, we got Taiwan Beer, and it's a kind of a long story how we got it. It's a mystery sponsor, so please enjoy the Taiwan Beer. Yeah, we cannot divulge who gave us this Taiwan Beer. So we're very happy that it's here. It's going to go very well with the popcorn shrimp. Chicken. We're going to be having a live podcast, which is kind of unusual. We usually do this remotely. So the podcast is going to be over to my left at 7:15 2015, I'm going to be interviewing 4 guests in person. And we would also like to thank the venue. I don't know if Shoko or Nikki are here, but the venue owner, Shoko, is also Taiwanese American.
Yeah, definitely.
We want to thank him for hosting us here today. Do you want to say something about it?
Well, it's great to see so many funny faces and beautiful faces. So, I'm Kaju. I'm the silent partner of the whole thing.
Not so silent, actually.
Usually not so silent. But we've had so many notable guests we're very proud of. For instance, we interviewed Robert Sal, founder of UMC. We interviewed Andrew Yang, former U.S. presidential candidate. We interviewed Charles Yu, who is an award-winning author, Vanessa Hope for Invisible Nation. And let me just hand this over to Felicia because she wants to tell you about a very special 2 guests.
Yes, and 2 of our most notable guests are the former Vice President, Dr. Chen Chen-ren. He was best known for handling COVID in Taiwan, and as most of us may know here, Taiwan had a really excellent COVID response, and we were very fortunate to interview him last year at the Taiwanese American Conference, East Coast. And we also interviewed Dr. Linda Gale-Arago, which you may also know as Linda. She's an activist, and she was involved with a lot of events that led up to the watershed moment that led to Taiwan's democratization, which is called the Kaohsiung incident. And we also, thanks to Kaju, because Kaju was not a part of this podcast from the very beginning, but when he came on, we really improved the podcast, like the sound quality and so on. So in 2021, we won the Golden Crane Award, and that's in large part thanks to Kaju, because he is a sound engineer, and he's made our podcast improve the sound. And then last year, we won the International Women's Podcast Award in the Moment of Visionary Leadership, and the episode that won that got us on the short list was Islanda's episode about the Kaohsiung incident. So we feel like this is really important to get recognition for Taiwan and for people to understand the situation in Taiwan.
I think it's important for people who don't know us, the impact that we've had the last few years. And we're very, very honored that this happened. We did the election tour in 2024, and Dr. Foon Chung Fan led a charge to try to get Lai Ching-te elected for the presidency. So he corralled all of the East Coast people and brought them to Taiwan to vote. And encourage them, I mean, essentially. But the thing is, in the end, he ended up, due to our episode, we interviewed him, Felicia interviewed Dr. Fan, and because of our interview, he ended up getting an interview with the New York Times within 3 days. So we're very, very happy about that, as you can see. Another thing we're very proud of is that the PR agency for the film Love in Taipei contacted us, approached us to interview award-winning filmmaker Arvin Chen. And that was a year and a half ago. And then also the PR agency for the first Taiwanese-Canadian comedian to have a series on Netflix and Amazon Prime.
It's a show, not a show.
It was a show. Ed Hill reached out to us, and it became one of our top 5 interviews in 2023. I'll let Felicia talk about some of the other events we've done.
Yes. So actually, we were at Passport to Taiwan in 2023. We had an outdoor studio, and actually the funny story is that as we were furniture shopping in this neighborhood, looking for furniture for the podcast concept, we went into this store, which was owned by Shoko, not this location, but different locations. And we quickly realized it was like way too expensive. And we told those salesperson what we were doing, and then they said, "Oh, the owner's Taiwanese. Let me introduce you to him." And that's how we met. That's a very long story short, and how we ended up here today.
And then we took the podcast in 2023 with that furniture to Passport to Taiwan. And we had, as you can see, a live outdoor studio where we interviewed 10 people, 10 interviews. Then we did the Talking Taiwan election tour in January 2024.
Yes, we actually took a podcast to Taiwan so that we could be there for the presidential election. And that was actually the first time that I voted in Taiwan because I had the right to vote. So that was really exciting. We did like 3 episodes covering the election at that time. And I think a lot of people in this room actually donated to support us to be able to go back to Taiwan. And if you were one of them, we want to personally thank you for that.
We went to the Taiwanese American Conference last year, DAE, and we interviewed the former Vice President, Dr. Chen. And overall, we did 12 interviews in 3 days, so we're very busy. People don't realize how much work is involved. We're only 2 people, and we have to set up, we have to record, we have to set up, do the interviews, research, so it's really a lot of work.
Yes, and we've also started doing some things in the field. So, for example, every September there's a UN for Taiwan rally, so we were there and we were interviewing people in the field. This is some more pictures from that. And we would like to talk a little bit more about why we're fundraising and what we have planned for 2025. So every year we try to do up the things that we do. So last year we went to TAC, East Coast. This year we're going to return, but we're going to be participating with TANG, the Taiwanese American Next Generation portion of the conference. And then we also are planning to go to the West Coast in California, the Taiwanese American Conference West Coast, and then Taiwan Fest in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, this is kind of a touchy subject, but it has to be said. People don't realize why our work matters. We're creating an oral record about Taiwan from a Taiwanese American perspective in English in a way that no one else is doing. I can say that confidently. Talking Taiwan's impact continues to justify our efforts, and we don't use AI to produce any of our episodes. Our authentic content is based and powered by human beings only, and it cannot be produced by AI.
Yeah, so I can safely say I think we feel we have some job security here.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, and so we want to talk about some really very real numbers about what we need to in order to be able to do these projects. So,
Yeah.
Every episode takes 25 to 30 hours to do the research, to do the pre-production, the post-production, fix the sound, improve the sound, all of this. And actually 25 to 30 hours is just post only.
Thank you.
So you can figure out the math. Last year we went to TAC EC and we worked with TAC and we had to raise $3,000 by ourselves, which, if you don't mind me saying, is a pittance for the amount of work that we do. And we covered 7 interviews. We've already released 7 interviews, and we have 5 more to release. So if you consider that 25 to 30 hours per interview of work that we do, times that by 12, you can see why we're asking to raise $20,000 to go to Tang this year. And we don't think that number is totally exorbitant. So let me give this to Alicia.
Right, so I think what people don't understand is a lot of the production work that goes into this. There's a lot of research in terms of preparing for the interviews. And then when we do all the editing, there's a lot of time involved with all that. But these numbers are including all these things. In fact, these numbers do not include our travel expenses, conference fees, things like that.
And then we're going to Taiwan Fest from August 22nd to August 24th. Again, every podcast episode that we produce, and we're planning to produce 8 episodes during that time, takes 25 to 30 hours just to post. So we're asking for a 25,000 raise for Taiwan Fest.
And so I think you can see why our annual raise is 100,000. And so I know that a lot of people here are just getting introduced to Talking Taiwan. So we hope that this is maybe a starting point for people to understand our work, and that we can have, like, this can be the start of some future collaborations or conversations. And
Indeed.
We'll turn it back over to Ed. Do you have anything?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Just give me a mic. I'll just talk like crazy. Okay, it's all good. So, you think they'll let you into Toronto this year?
Well, I am a Canadian citizen.
You're already in?
I have 3 citizenships, so I have U.S., Canadian, and Taiwan.
How is this possible? You have 3 citizenships.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Okay, ICE has nothing on you. Is there a tote bag available to hold on?
Yes, there is a tote bag.
Okay, I want to tell you about these tote bags. They are in short supply. They're endangered. There's very few left in the wild. In fact, this is one of the few that's left. And normally these only go to people who donate $1,500 or more. But tonight, you only need. Wait, hold up higher. Hi, hold up very high, so the people waiting for their food can see. Okay, so ordinarily you would have to donate $1,500 in order to get one of these tote bags. But tonight we have a special. You only have to donate $500 for one, which is incredibly reasonable. I mean, when you consider how much tote bags are these days, very hard to come by. This is a quality tote bag. It incorporates a lot of things about Taiwan.
No sweat labor.
No, not at all. You know, Taiwan, symbolizing Taiwan is more than just 101. Here we have a moon bear, which has sort of become the unofficial mascot of Taiwan. And of course, a sunflower mountain. What's the saying of that mountain?
And this was
Taiwan is 3/4 mountainous.
Yeah, but this is a particular mountain, isn't it? It's like
Jade Mountain.
the highest mountain in Taiwan is the highest mountain in East Asia.
Yes.
Jade Mountain.
Jade Mountain.
Yes.
Okay, that must be
We
it.
got the semiconductors.
Semiconductors
In the phone.
in the phone. Is that the name?
Most notably, it was created by Felicia's famous cousin, the artist herself, the artist.
We've got like wild lily movement,
Yeah.
wild strawberries, the Formosan black bear.
And Talking Taiwan spelled correctly? That's not a small thing.
Don't forget the raffle that we have running.
Oh, I'm pushing people to donate like crazy. For a $50 donation, you'll get exclusive first listening access to interviews with special guests like former Vice President Dr. Chen Chen, who's best known for his excellent handling of the COVID pandemic in Taiwan, and Morrison Lee, a Taiwanese businessman who went to China on what was supposed to be a 48-hour trip and ended up being detained and stuck there for nearly 4 years.
Yes.
As I mentioned before, there are QR codes at your tables. Feel free to use those. Please let me know if you've made a significant donation, and I'll ring the bell for you, which you can't put a price on that.
Okay.
Raffle tickets are $10 each. And the more that you get, the closer we get these guys on the podcast tour, which is not cheap.
Do you remember what the raffle items are, Ed?
I was about to say what these are. Let me tell you about some of our raffle items. First of all, we have an autographed copy of The Food of Taiwan by James Beard award-winning author Kathy Irway. We also have Winsong Presents, a Taiwanese American cookbook. Autographed by authors Josh Kuhn, Trig Brown, and Kathy Irway. There's also a, do you call it DAE or DAE Tea?
DAE.
DAE.
Yes, because that's the Taiwanese
DAE.
pronunciation for tea, by the way.
DAE.
Yes.
DAE. DAE.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to speak any more Mandarin tonight, out of respect for the people
Well,
of
that was
Taiwan.
Taiwanese.
Okay. You know, my pronunciation is terrible. It just sounded Taiwanese. Okay, DAE Tea Taiwan Honey Oolong, loose leaf tin. There's also a DAE Tea Journey of Taiwan collection box set. And also a $50 gift certificate to 886 Restaurant. Okay, you know why it's called 886 Restaurant? What is 886?
Why?
Yeah, it's an area, the country code for Taiwan, because Taiwan is a country.
That's
And
correct.
we have another
That is
surprise item for the raffle. This is a painting done by Kaarina MacKenzie. It is from a scene in Taipei at a breakfast place. And she has generously donated this to be part of the raffle. So if you enter the raffle, you may win this beautiful piece of artwork. Kaarina is going to be interviewed later on after 7 when we do the podcast.
This is an original artwork?
I think it's a print.
Okay, this is a special print.
So we have 6 outstanding prizes that will be announced at 8:50 p.m. The band will play again at 8:15, and then at 8:50 p.m. we're going to announce the winner. So buy your tickets. Stack up on your tickets because these are incredible prizes.
The tickets are in the center. There's a round table, and you'll see a box that says raffle, and you can just talk to Joanne and just buy your $10 set of tickets for a chance to win these 6 wonderful prizes. Yeah, which are definitely all worth more than $10.
Yeah.
This back to you.
All right.
Okay. Like they say, you need to be in it to win it. So I suggest hoarding some raffle tickets right now.
So stick around. We're going to have a live podcast at 7:15. It's going to be amazing. If you've never heard Talking Taiwan live, this will be the right time.
최고란 가랑 유하 와의 괴리 대장기간 다리 공사의 시즌이 보과가 자꾸 잡아야 보내가 완티완데 바위야 비행수 와의 가리 한겨자 이위와 시비행게야
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Get ready for a really deeply personal interview. A journey through pain and laughter. The extremely amusing Esther Chen.
Esther Esther, thank you for coming back here. Last time we spoke was in 2021, like around the pandemic, right?
Oh, wow.
Right? Like, cause I was looking it up because I had to remember. So I follow you on IG, and by the way, if people here don't know Esther and they don't already follow her on Instagram, I would recommend that you do so because she has some really, really funny reels. And I want to ask you about that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. You have this one where I call it the bad interpreter.
Oh.
Right? Can you tell me about that concept? That's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. So I have this really stupid series on my social media. So really what happened is one year I was home in Taiwan, and my mother has a company where she works with people who don't speak Chinese. And usually my sister translates for her because my sister's 13 years older and therefore more legit. But my sister wasn't there that year. So my mom said, oh, we're going to have our weiya.
Just for context, weiya is the term for a year-end company banquet. It's a tradition in Taiwan that employers host a year-end banquet to thank their employees.
And I'm going to say my speech to my employees in Chinese. Will you translate it to English for me? And I said, sure. And I looked over her speech that she hand wrote, and I told her, 妈，你知道这个很无聊吗？这个演讲写得非常无聊。我说尾牙不是要搞笑吗？为什么这么无聊？ And she was like, well, I don't know how to tell a joke, so why don't you write some jokes in for me? And then I realized, I was like, oh, every joke you write is kind of like roasting someone. You're kind of, putting someone down. And I just don't know if someone at a higher position at a company should say bad things about our company. I was like, this kind of feels a little bit too inappropriate, even though it is a weiya. And I'm not sure if people in Taiwan are going to understand, like, a joke is supposed to be a joke. It really isn't real. We don't mean it. And so because of that, I decided I'm going to say all the bad things. And she was going to stay proper so she wouldn't cross her lines at her job.
Okay.
But then I don't work at her company, so it doesn't matter if I say something stupid. So she would say something in Chinese, and I would translate it to something really inappropriate about my relationship with my mom.
Oh, that's so funny. I thought that you just had like a translating gig and then you were making it into something.
Oh no,
like,
that is my real mother.
Funny.
She's not
Oh my
proud.
goodness, that's hilarious.
And then I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to post on social media, and I have to. Why don't I just throw this clip on it? And then like a lot of people liked it, and then like a few news channels were like, oh, can we throw it up on our
Really?
Yeah, it was really like unexpected because it was just such a random occasion of I'm just doing this favor for my mother.
But it's really funny. It's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knew? She really liked getting roasted. Yeah.
And speaking of reels, I remember watching your reels last year during the Olympics, the Paris Olympics.
Oh, yes.
And I was really, really riveted by some of your reels. And I remember there was one where you were going to go to the Olympics and you were trying to decide if what you were wearing was okay because you had some paraphernalia related to Taiwan or the flag.
Yeah, so I never had any intention of going to the Olympics, but my boyfriend's a huge fanatic. And I accidentally found out that as a Taiwanese person, you are not allowed. Well, I always knew about the flag thing. It's like, oh, you can't, because, there's not a real participating country. So we have the Hui Qi, right? We have the white Hui Qi.
Yeah, the whole
So,
Chinese Taipei.
So exactly. So that I understood. But I didn't understand that you cannot say the word Taiwan. You cannot say go Taiwan. You cannot spell out Bapama Taiwan. You cannot wear red, white, and blue or anything that offends China. You can't. I didn't realize it was, and I think it really just depends on what the Olympics decides to do. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, that's okay. Or sometimes, like I had this one thing where I drew a little shape of Taiwan, and I made it green because, well, that's the color of it on the map. And then next to it, I wrote Zhonghua Taipei, which is like the name of the team. So I knew that was safe, right? I didn't write the word Chinese. It wasn't illegal. But then they had an issue with the shape of the thing. And I was like, okay, but that's where the team is from. Like, did you want me to draw a picture of Mars? Like, what other shape was I going to bring in? I don't know. Like, but that became really contentious.
Right.
When they were inspecting my bag. The security made it a really big deal. And then even after I got into the arena, I think I don't know if it was like Chinese spies, but there were people in the audience who told the volunteers about my poster, again with the little shape.
Oh, wow.
And then I had to go in the middle of a really heated match, which was like the men's badminton. Gold match, which is China versus Taiwan. The volunteers had to come over. It's like, no, you need to take your sign away. And I was like, I already went through this. They said it was okay, but then they didn't believe us. So it was under the whole, it was just very nerve-wracking. You just never knew when you were going to offend someone or how it was going to play out. Yeah. Even when you try to be safe, it's hard to.
Yeah, and I saw you even witnessed and shot some footage of other people's
so crazy.
signs and things getting taken too, right?
Yeah, so this was at the gold match for women's boxing. So Taiwan had just won our first gold match for boxing. And I happened to sit really close to the stage, and behind me was this big hallway area that you could walk on to get into your seats. Mm-hmm. And so in the middle of us giving out the awards to the athletes, there were Taiwanese people that came out with a big whale flag. So if you know the whale flag, it's the independence flag, and it was it wasn't just, so the regular size flag is this was like 8 times larger. So it took like 4 people to like pull out the Ting-Yi Chen, right?
Wow.
The big blue and black flag. And so I'm like, I'm going to go live because I have never heard the flag song played outside of public school.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, I just never heard it in public. This is such a crazy incident. So I took out on my Instagram. I was like, I'm going to go live on this because my friends at home are going to want to watch this. This is cuckoo. So then I go on live, and then these Chinese audiences came out with their flag and sort of was trying to do this thing of like, oh, you're going to take out the whale flag? Well, here's a Chinese flag. You know, you're part of us. And then the security came climbing through my row, and because the flag was right behind me.
Like they climbed over the seats.
They did, like from the very bottom of the
God.
arena, and they were climbing from different doors, all aiming at me because they were right behind me.
Oh.
And then they tackled them, and this woman's bag fell on me.
Oh my gosh.
And then they dragged the girl out.
Yeah.
And then I'm just left with this person's passport and phone and wallet and like everything. And I'm just like, and then security like walked me around to look for the girl to give her stuff because they just threw her out. Anyway, so that was all accidentally caught on my Instagram
I
Live.
saw that.
Which again, I was just trying to focus on the flag being raised. And then what happened is I didn't realize so many people were going to watch my Instagram Live, and so many people were like awake during that time because it was like, it was Paris time, like 8 or 9, so it was like 2 or 3 a.m. in Taiwan, and people were staying up to like watch this historical moment. And then what people did is they started screen recording my Instagram Live, and so they had all the footage of me doing Instagram Live. Because what happened is my Instagram Live ended, right? It got cut. Like I didn't end it. Like the app itself ended my feed for whatever reason it was. And I didn't ever click stop.
Wow.
And so it cut me. It didn't say why. And usually when an Instagram reel, like a live ends, you're able to download it, right? You're able to download the footage of what you had just recorded. I didn't have any footage to download. The whole thing was completely deleted. And the only reason I had bits and pieces of the situation is because my friends in Taiwan started recording. And then all these fans, they were like, oh, we were watching you, we recorded this. And everyone just started sending me what they had screenshot out of their phones.
Wow.
Which I just didn't expect any of this. It was all very coincidental. I didn't even know it was going to sit there. I didn't even know there was going to be like space behind me. It was,
Wow.
It was insane.
Oh, I'm glad I asked you. Because,
very, very insane.
Because I think we even like made a reel. We reshared it on
really?
Talking Taiwan. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it was such a thing during the Paris Olympics. My goodness. Okay, so is there anything you'd like to share that you want people to know about that you're working on, or where they can see you do your stand-up or anything?
Yeah, I'm doing stand-up almost every night. What else? What has changed? I don't really know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, maybe we can have you on for a longer interview if you have some things to talk about.
Okay.
But, yeah, wanted to thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have Thomas Du here. Thomas is one of the co-owners of DAE Tea, which you can sample here. They've brought their tea here. They also very generously donated a loose tea tin and then a tea box set. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Felicia. Yeah, thank you for having.
So Thomas, I know that DAE is a family business, right? Anyone who's been invited here probably can see from all of our promotions that DAE Tea is a 5-generation tea business. But you were not always doing this, right? What were you doing before you decided to promote DAE?
Right, yeah. Before, I always had a full-time job working in music and entertainment. So I was doing brand partnerships at an entertainment company. And then on the side, I also had a creative agency working with artists and brands on design and marketing. And so, yeah, even to this day, as we've brought our family tea from Taiwan to New York, still have a full-time job working in music, connecting artists and brands. So DAE has been just a really great extension of my creative life and career as well. So,
Oh, great. So can you tell me, how did this actually happen? How did you decide to bring your family's tea to the U.S.? Because I understand it's actually quite well known in Taiwan, right?
Yeah, it is. I think, last time I went to Taiwan was in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And this was my first time going to Taiwan as like a more grown adult, like a working adult, trying to figure out life.
Right.
So going back in 2019 with family, really, it just hit different that time. I think like that trip left an impression on me as far as giving me a sense of where my family comes from. It's like almost no matter, where you grew up or where you moved to, different places you've been to and traveled. There was it's like the sense of home that no one can take from you. So that's kind of like the feeling I got from that trip, being with my uncles and aunts and cousins and visiting my grandpa's tea shop, which has always been like the place we visit when I go to Taiwan. So even as a visitor, that trip left a huge impression on me as far as like, no matter where I go, this is where I'm from. And so yeah, just wanted to bring a piece of that back to New York with me.
Can you talk a little bit about what this tea business means to your family?
Yeah, I mean, the tea business is everything. I think for us, it's like home. Like I mentioned, my grandpa's tea shop is home base. Like I've always gone there to visit. Our family lives there, lives upstairs above the tea shop. So it's everything. It's a legacy. It's interesting. We've been in the tea game for 5 generations. And so it's also just inspiring to me just to be a part of that. And
yeah, the legacy. Yeah, for sure.
It makes me wonder, like what decisions are we making today that, 5 generations later could still be kind of seeing the effects of that.
So how do you see DAE and how are you promoting it in the U.S.?
Yeah, it's definitely been a grind. I think, like here in the States, I think on a mass level, tea's not an everyday thing like in Taiwan where it's a part of everyday life. So a part of that is like tea education, like teaching people or educating people on what tea is, what oolong tea is versus black tea, how to brew it. So it's been a grind. We've been learning a lot about how to like vend at different markets or work at different pop-ups and just finding different opportunities through different people and different events. So
yeah, I know that you do a lot of pop-ups. Do you have ambition to have a shop or anything like that?
I would love to. I think even just how we connected more recently a few years ago at a gallery space we put together. Yep. Just being able to have a space and have people come in.
A dedicated space,
share tea and conversation. Like, that would be an amazing like dream in the future. Because it also takes me back to like my family's tea shop. People come in, sit down.
Yeah, it's like
have conversation
a sense of community, right? A place to convene.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. How would you say that DAE differs from other brands, other tea brands?
I would say the quality of our tea. Number one, our tea has been recognized internationally. We've been very fortunate to win different awards in, Belgium, Japan, and France.
Wow. Yeah.
And number two is we do everything in-house. So the family in Taiwan, we grow, produce, distribute,
Oh, wow.
pick the leaves, everything, market
Right,
and sell
from
it. So
beginning to
everything
end.
is beginning to end in-house. So we are able to really kind of control the quality and, you know, the process that has been passed along generation to generation. And
Yeah.
then we also take care of the soil on the mountains.
Oh, wow.
That's something we really
Right,
prioritize as
right,
well.
right.
So we don't use any herbicides in the soil. We use natural fertilizers and also manual weeding.
Oh, wow.
So we really protect the soil and then
Yes.
also work with indigenous people in the mountains, generation over generation,
Right.
kind of offering education and job opportunities
Oh,
to work
wow.
on the
That's
farm.
wonderful.
So yeah,
That's really wonderful. It must be so rewarding to know that you're a part of that, right?
yeah, it's been a fun learning experience, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Is there anything else you'd like to share about either DAE or your connection to Taiwan, or something that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, I mean, you know, definitely check us out on Instagram. We're daetea.co. We share a lot of our upcoming events and pop-ups. But yeah, thank you so much, Felicia, for having me be a part of this event. I think, yeah, like one of the best parts of working on DAE and bringing the family tea is being able to connect with like other artists and creatives and small businesses and entrepreneurs like yourself. So yeah, really appreciate you.
Oh, no, we appreciate you too. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, is Kaarina around? So this is the last minute addition to our wonderful raffle. So if you have, there's still a chance to buy raffle tickets. We're selling them $10 for 10 tickets apiece, and you could have a chance to win this lovely piece of artwork by Kaarina. Do you want to talk about it, like so people can know?
Yeah,
what it
this is based on it's a print, so it's an oil painting that's quite large scale. It's based on my grandmother's like local breakfast spot, so this is where we go every time I go home. And I wanted to paint it life-size because I wanted it to feel like you were walking in and like ordering something off the wall. So the menu and everything, it looks like you're walking into a restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of your artworks are large scale like that. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing about Kaarina is that the reason that I met Kaarina, I already interviewed her, is because of Shoko, the owner of this space. And as I was telling people the story, I walked into Shoko's furniture store, actually not this location, and I told him we were looking for furniture for Talking Taiwan. And he said, oh, I have some people that you might want to consider being your guests. And one of the people was Kaarina. And so I'm wondering, like, could you, and shout out to Shoko, I don't know if he's here.
Shoko?
Where is Shoko? We want to thank you so much. Can you tell the audience, how did you meet Shoko?
Well, that's actually a really funny story and very serendipitous. I was walking with one of my paintings on 6th Ave, just like walking out of the apartment, and I was holding it out towards the street, and this gentleman walked by and goes, oh, I like your painting. I noticed because there's Asian faces in it. And he goes, where is this space? And I go, oh, it's Taiwan, because I'm Taiwanese. And he goes, well, I'm Taiwanese. My name's Shoko. I was like, oh, my name's Kaarina. So we met on 6th Ave. Very New York moment. And he invited me to come show in his space. And then from there, I met you. From there, I met Thomas and met a lot of other Taiwanese creators as well.
Yeah, actually, I did want to ask how you met Thomas.
It was a word of mouth.
Yeah.
I had an art show. I had an art show that was based around like an immersive night market experience,
Yes.
and I was
And that's what I interviewed you about.
Yeah, I was
Right.
looking for other Taiwanese makers and creators to come and join me. So I just didn't want it to make it just about myself.
Yeah.
So we did a little collaboration,
Right.
and he showed up with the tea and did this like beautiful custom wine.
And you had a
tea
lot of night
bottle.
market food there because
Had
the
a lot of-
concept was a night market,
Exactly.
right?
So we invited also a Taiwanese chef to come and like serve her noodles. We had Taiwanese tea. We had Taiwanese art. We had Taiwanese music. I took the sounds of the night market and kind of installed it into the space as well. I made the lighting kind of mimic the feel and vibe of a night market as well.
Yeah, and I saw on your Instagram that recently you had some artwork that was displayed in the subway, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, and it was an open call, and I'm very specifically always very thoughtful about the kind of work that I want to show in public. So specifically for this one, I was like, oh, this is a chance for people to see Taiwanese art as well as a Taiwanese artist. And you have millions and thousands of people whose eyeballs are going to be on this every day in like a poster on the subway. So I wanted to submit something that represented myself, but also Taiwan.
Yeah. But so what was the artwork depicting?
It's this one.
That was the one. This is the one that was in the subway. This was the one
that was on the subway.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah. So this is a very, and it's called Specials, but it's also a very special painting because it has a personal story. But also, you don't specifically have to be from Taiwan to recognize this kind of scene.
Right.
So it's like the feeling and the emotion that it evokes.
Okay. Oh, great. That's so appropriate. I didn't realize that. So, would you like to share what you're working on these days? Is there something new? Or?
Sure. Yeah, I have an exciting thing coming up. If any of your listeners want to come, or they live upstate New York. So I live upstate New York.
Right.
So a lot of work that I'm trying to do is bringing a little more representation of Taiwan upstate.
Yeah.
Like this kind of thing is amazing because we're in the city and we get to gather a lot of people. Upstate, it's a little harder. So I'm going to be doing a Taiwanese sesame noodle food and art pop-up.
Oh, how fun. When?
It's going to be over Mother's Day weekend.
Okay.
I'll send you the details.
Yes.
It's at Basilica Hudson on Mother's Day weekend.
Oh.
And I'm going to be working with a bunch of other Asian vendors. And I'm going to be showing Taiwanese art and sharing Taiwanese food.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You should come.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to share or let people know how they can see your artwork or know more about you?
Definitely. I have a website as well. I have an Instagram. I really love to work on commissions and collaborations as well. So if anyone's interested in any Taiwanese facing art or wants to do a project together, I'm very excited to.
Right. Yeah. So people can reach out to me if you would like to know more about Kaarina. And I'll put you in touch with
collaborations.
I'll put them in touch with you.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being
Felicia.
here. Yes.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Hey, Jonny. Nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Okay, so nice. This is the first time that I'm meeting Jonny in person, but there's been a lot of communications back and forth.
Absolutely.
When we imagined this event, we wanted to do something that would really celebrate the Taiwanese American community.
Sure.
So celebrating the cuisine, the culture, and community, and that's part of the reason why you're invited to be here.
Yeah, awesome.
Because you are the president of the Taiwanese American Professionals in New York.
That's right.
And I know that you were born and raised in Illinois, right?
Yeah, so I always think of myself as like an outsider. Even before college, I was born and raised in like a really small farm town in the Midwest. I didn't know what like pho or sundubu was until I got to college. Went to college in LA, which was a complete like mind opener.
Yeah.
And a big culture shock.
Right.
And then stayed in LA for a couple years, moved to New York just about 4 years ago.
Right.
And it's been a really fun ride for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely feel like an outsider everywhere I go. Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, I went to UIUC for my undergrad.
Champaign,
so you know, Champaign-Urbana. So are you surprised that you've been in New York for 4 years?
Yeah, I thought I was only going to come here for like 2 or 3 years, and I'm still here.
What keeps you here?
I think just the people is just really fun.
Yeah.
I think there's nowhere else I'd rather be in my 20s.
Yeah.
It's just a fun city.
Yeah.
All my California friends from college are still asking me all the time, like, when are you moving back? Like, you keep saying you'll come back to LA, but you never do. But eventually, I'd like to go back. Yeah.
Okay. So how long do you think it takes to be considered a New Yorker? Because you've been here 4 years. Do you feel like a New Yorker yet?
No, not at all.
No?
And it's mainly because my girlfriend's born and raised in New York. So I
can't
get
compete with that.
Not at all.
No
and all
way.
our friends are born and raised. They're on the subway at like 10 years old.
Right. let's talk a little bit about TAP. How did you get involved with TAP?
So TAP is a really interesting story for me because as an outsider, I felt like I got to college and really sort of overcompensated because I didn't know what it was to be Asian, let alone Taiwanese. So when I got to college, I joined an Asian fraternity. I got involved in the Taiwanese American Student Association there just to figure out myself and try to figure out, what are my roots. I grew up in a very non-minority town, and I just wanted to explore that part of myself. So to answer your question about TAP, as part of TASA, the student org, we actually partnered with TAP LA for a mentorship program. So I was a mentee. I wanted to, further my career, figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And TAP LA assigned me a great mentor who was a part of the LA board. And he really helped me get through those first very difficult years in college where
That's
I just
so great they have a program like that.
I had a lot of trouble adjusting as a new college student, not from a city. And so I felt that after graduating, that was the way for me to give back, is to get involved with TAP. I got involved with TAP LA. And then when I moved to New York for my job, I actually didn't know anyone here. So it was an easy transition to sort of meet new people through TAP. And so I've always wanted to give back in TAP for that
that's
reason.
so wonderful. So what have you learned of, from your experience, like all the work that you do with TAP? And how long have you been the president?
Yeah, so I've been president for about 3 years, my third year, third and last.
Oh, wow.
So I don't actually know a New York without TAP. Since I moved here, I got involved. What have I learned? It's a lot of work. And all of the nonprofits and AAPI
because you have
orgs.
your regular day job, and TAP is
that's right.
something you do for the community.
That's right. And the whole board I have a board of about 11 or 12 board members, and they're all volunteer people that just care about the community. So I've learned that the community comes together and they're strong. And if you have people that are passionate about it, that's where success comes from. But it is a lot of thankless work, organizing a space for people to come together. Absolutely difficult.
Right. And I know that you have this interesting hobby, right? You told me that you like to put together keyboards.
Yeah.
And so can you tell me, how did you get into this hobby, and what is it about keyboards? Like, what can I do with a customized keyboard? Like, why would I care about this? Like, are you a gamer, or I don't understand.
Yeah, I think its roots started in gaming. Like, I wanted a keyboard that was fast and helped me win more. As COVID came around, everyone was just kind of stuck at home, working from home. I work in finance, so I'm a big keyboard Excel guy, all day long in Excel. So I found that if I'm going to be using a tool all day long, and that's my livelihood, I'd rather make it custom, comfortable, and to my liking. So there is a space for it. There's like a big community that's involved in it. It's more popularized now and more accessible. But I'd say it came from a root of gaming. I still game a lot. But you can tune it to the sound, the look, the feel that you want. And
it's really interesting. So I guess you could, like, the comfort, even like how hard it is to type, and like maybe even the positioning, like hopefully to avoid carpal tunnel or something like that, right?
And different layouts and whatnot. It's all,
colors, like it's endless.
Absolutely.
Endless, So for people who don't know, would you mind telling us a little bit about TAP, and like what are some of your regular and most popular events?
Yeah, so we have 10 chapters all across the U.S. So even if you're not New York based, most major cities have a TAP chapter. Our biggest events every year tend to be our boat party, which is coming up in the summer. We've got a Lunar New Year banquet.
Boat party?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we book out a whole boat.
Oh, wow. Is it one of those boats that goes on the Hudson or something
like
that?
Yeah,
Nice.
we get about 300 people on there.
Oh, 300, my goodness. Wow.
Other events, we do monthly cooking classes, a monthly happy hour.
Yeah, you have a very active calendar. It looks like a lot of fun. And one of the events I saw recently was like a crafting thing?
Yeah, Crafternoon. So it was at a great venue in Chinatown where you can do whatever. You can go and paint ceramics. You can just free draw. You can do whatever activity suits you best. Pottery included. So it's very accessible and fully family friendly. We try to have our events be pretty varied and have a lot of openness. Anyone can really attend our events.
Right. Okay, great. So, if there's anything else you'd like to share about TAP or your connection to Taiwan, or something you want to share with the audience, I leave it open.
No, if anything, like, we host 3 to 5 events every month.
Yeah.
They're generally accessible or
Right.
low cost. We want them to be accessible.
Do you have a membership fee for
We
people
don't.
to? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so it's pretty much open membership. Anyone can come and go.
Oh, wonderful.
We actually find that, and this is indicative of us doing a good job, when a lot of people come out to our events, they find a group of friends and don't come back. And that's really how we like measure our success.
Yeah.
Luckily, people have found friends and have found a
Yes.
community. And if that's complete, then we've done our job and we're happy with it. Luckily, we're in a city where there's so much turnover and a lot of people moving in that it's always newcomers, new fresh faces coming to our events.
Yeah.
So I'd say check out our Instagram at TAPNY. It's the easiest way to get to know what events we're hosting. We try to have very different events for everyone. So happy hours, non-alcoholic happy hours, cooking classes, volunteer events, sporting events.
Yeah.
And we really try to change it up.
Yeah,
So-
something for everybody.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
this month I think we have like 11 events. So
Wow.
it's packed like 2 a week.
Oh my
I'm at
goodness.
most of them.
Wow, thank you for being here.
No worries. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my spiel. If anything, check out Tap on Instagram.
Okay, great.
It's the best way to get involved. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Felicia.
Thank
Good
you.
meeting you.
Yeah, good to meet you finally. Okay. All right, and that concludes the podcast hour. Thank you everybody for your attention.
Ready, guys? 3, 1, 2, 3. Gonna do the what's up? Last t-shirt. Good match. How about you got film there? Now we have a focus. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Give it up for the band, the Peter Lynn's AAPI Jazz Collective. We have Mike Bond on keyboards, Kevin Shea on bass, Mike Tom on vocals, me Tom, I'm sorry, that's the right one. Wayne Ting Wu on drums, and the great Peter Lynn on trombone, or as we say, bone. Well, I guess it's no surprise that I'm the surprise. We're going to start something, play a little classic Sinatra Basie to begin with. I know my friend James likes that here because he's a big Sinatra fan. And we're going to hit it. And let me introduce to you who will sing all these songs. To my right, you have the great Mr. Ting-Yi Chen. Give it up for Ting-Yi Chen. Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you a little story. For about 3 years, Felicia was bugging me. Learn to sing a song in Taiwanese. Just learn to sing one song in Taiwanese. 1, 2, 3, 4. Raffle coming. You might win 6 prizes, and they're pretty good ones, I must say.
Thank you.